Hi everybody, hope everyone's doing well in this already crazy year. So we've got at the moment what's going on in, everyone's been talking about what's going on in Kazakhstan. Now this country is a very interesting and very strange country because it's kind of like a mix of European and Asian culture. I've actually looked into it, in my spare time. I've looked into this country because I find it quite a fascinating place because it's very secretive, it's not very known. But they have this amazing city that fascinates me. I'll just show you now. Now, bear in mind, this country is supposed to be not a very wealthy country at all. And you look at this city that they've built. This is the capital city, Nur Sultan. It's named after the Sultan, accordingly. But it's actually a white marble city. And you look at the place, and you look how organised it looks. This city. Try and find some more photographs. So look at this. And you look at how organised this is, and it's very empty. The streets are very empty. It's almost like a ghost town. It's very weird. Now, I don't know if you've noticed before, but China also has ghost cities like this. And it makes me wonder if these cities are the cities in the future during the New World Order. Because, I mean, really, you've got LG there, another corporation. You see all these corporations all over the world. This is a totally different culture to, say, the UK, the US, Europe, or even Europe. It's a very different culture, yet they still have the same brands all over the world. That's because the same people, that are running so-called enemy countries like North Korea, which once was Kazakhstan, where's the other one, Vietnam, and even China, they are allowing corporations into those countries, and the corporations are taking over. So you see, you've got LG here, you've got LG in the UK, you've got LG in the US. It's everywhere. They've made agreements everywhere because they run everything. It's loads of corporations, but it's under one big corporate entity that's controlling the world. But you look at some of the buildings in this city, look amazing. I mean, we'll continue down here, look. I mean, look how modern and futuristic it looks. And we don't really know much about this country, do we? All these stands, these ex-Soviet Union countries, like you've got Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Tajikistan. It's crazy, guys. Yeah. Of course, this is going to be a very long video, guys. I think there's a lot to cover in this. But can you see here, look, if you notice these buildings here, these arches are all over the world. What is the significance of building just random arches? Like you've got the Arc de Triomphe in Paris, or I'll just show you a few. You've got all these different arches, guys, all over the world. So you've got the Arc de Triomphe in Paris, you've got loads of different copies of Arc de Triomphe. You've got one in London, which is the Marble Arch. You've got this one. Is this the famous one in St. Louis? Yeah, you've got that arch in St. Louis. And it just makes me wonder, what are they for? Why do they just keep these? Sometimes as well in Lincoln, where I'm from in the UK, there's an area. I'll show you on Google Maps now. There's areas buildings in Lincoln where they just keep the archways and they knock the rest of the buildings down, but they keep the archways. Now we say it's just for history, but you look all over the world, you've just got these random archways in the middle of nowhere sometimes, and it's like, why? Is there a gateway to something? Is it an energy source? You know, is it a resonator? It does make you wonder, because they get rid of the rest of the building, but they keep these archways. There's one in York as well, and there's probably quite a few in the UK. I think there's another one. So this is Newport Arch. We'll just go down here. I think there's, from what I remember, there is another one. I'll go into another detail as well. Yeah, there is another one. It's just as we enter towards the cathedral. Give me a sec. So, is that it? No, it's down here, isn't it? It's one of my favourite cities, Lincoln. So here, well, normally there was an arch here, which it's just an arch, but it goes into the cathedral. I don't know if you can go that way. I think you can actually. Yeah, you can. Well, they've covered it up, but it's just an arch. And I think there's a few. I think so. This is Lincoln Cathedral. It's having work done. I think there's one down there as well. You look at some of these buildings, right? I'm going to get into this in a bit. But you look at how grand and big these big cathedrals are. Why do they have to be so big? Why did they build them so big? If it was just for religious purposes, I think there's so much more to it, you know. Because you look at the size of them and you compare it to the rest of the buildings. What's the significance of building them so grand and big? And what kind of, you know, this was built in the 12th century, I think it was. And with the technology that they had, they're able to create complex stuff like this. Look at some of the complexity of all this, look. And the overlaps. I'll show you something else in a minute as well. But we'll continue down here. I think there's another arch down here. I mean, even here, look, you've got little arches to go through. You look at some of the complexity of this. Look at this. Look at all that, look. What's that? What's this here, look? And you look at this, the shapes of them as well. This is found all over the world. Very interesting. And I've got a theory, but I'll come to the theory in a minute. What it could be. So yeah, there's another archway here. Look. I mean, yeah, keep it for history purposes, but there was something else here. It wasn't just this archway, was it? There was clearly something else here, like a building. There's two archways there, and this as well. You know, you look at somewhere like Paris. You've got the Arc de Triomphe right in the middle of a roundabout. What's all that about? Why build that? You know what I mean? And there's another one round here. Look. I'll show you another building in a minute. But this is a very interesting building around here. This is called a chapter house. But look at the shape of it. What was this? What do you think this was in the past? I mean, they built that just for Christianity? You really think that? It might have been a purpose as well for Christianity, but to build a building on this scale does make me question, you know. And I'll show you something else as well. There's a demon, a Lincoln local legend of a Lincoln demon called the Lincoln Imp. Have a search for it now if you want, if you can while you're watching this video. But look at this building. This is what, you know, the round shape. It's like a it's probably something to do with even like a hexagram or something. I don't know how many. I mean, you've got the pyramid there. Look, the pyramid at the top. Maybe it's a Jesuit owned thing by looking at that at the top as well. And all over the world, I did a post in there. I said about how all over the world there's pretty much every building nearly has a pyramid shape on it. You look at houses, the roof, it's like a triangle pyramid into the top of the Empire State Building, a pyramid. The tallest building in London, the Shard, is a pyramid. The Burj Khalifa is a pyramid shape. And this is found all over the world. I mean, why did they have to build roofs like this? You know what I mean? And where did it come from? But yeah, this is the other arch anyway down here, look. So there's another arch there, look. It's just random there. They've just kept the arch. They've knocked the rest of the building down, but they've kept the arch, look. They've kept the arch. I mean, is it a gateway to something? I mean, what does it for? I mean, I could go into detail of cities and energy sources. Yeah. If we go back, if we look at the style of Lincoln Cathedral, and this is the chapter house here, look, can you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? I mean, how many of these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's like a hexagram. It's like a hex, innit? Witchcraft. Did they perform rituals in this chapter house? Probably did. And look at the scale of this building is huge. You know what it once was used for. It wasn't just religious purposes. There was other things. I mean, when you look at some of these buildings like cathedrals, don't they resemble power station shapes? Now, guys, these are just theories. I'm thinking outside the box. So if you don't agree with me, you don't have to. It's just what I think. I don't 100% believe it. I'm just putting ideas out there. So we've got like the cross here, look. This was once the tallest building in the world, by the way, guys. This was once the tallest building in the world hundreds of years ago. And it actually used to have, I'll show you something, because this is where it gets interesting. Here we go, you ready, guys? So here, guys, we have Lincoln Cathedral. When Lincoln Cathedral was the tallest building in the world. So this was from the local newspaper, the Lincolnite. So tall tales. Giza, Paris, New York, Kuala Lumpur and Lincoln. What do all of these places have in common? At one point in time, they contained the tallest building in the world. Now, we know history is a farce, but I'm not getting into this. You'll see why I find this interesting in a minute. While our fair city may not have had an Empire State Building or an Eiffel Tower, we do have a majestic cathedral more than capable of giving any building in the world a run for its money. In 1311, now you saw the complexity of that building and how it was and the detail in it and how to, it's crazy. What tools did they have? We're told that the technology wasn't advanced, but in 1311 they were able to do that. And then when you look at now, they just build plain buildings. It's like, what? Even now they'll struggle to recreate what they created in 1311. In 1311, it did just that, beating the Great Pyramid of Giza to become the world's tallest structure. The cathedral itself was begun sometimes around 1088 by Regimus de Ficamp, Bishop of Lincoln. So I'm going to show you what happened here, guys. Almost like regime there, isn't it? So it was a run originally. So this was the original tower. So they right, you saw that on Google Street View, right? So you got this now here, and this is what it looks like on Google Street View. So the bit spires at the top are missing. Interesting, right? Because when you look at some of these churches and buildings that have been destroyed in the past, I mean, you look at the Notre Dame. What was the point of all that? What was obviously it was a ritualistic fire, but what was the point of destroying that and replacing it? Destroying it in a fire a few years ago. And it's happened quite a few times with old buildings. It's very interesting. So yeah, that's Lincoln Cathedral now. And this is what it was. So it had a big pyramid on top. 3 big pyramids that were apparently destroyed in a storm. Apparently there were wooden spires. when construction work was completed 4 years later in 1311, the central spire reached a height of 525 feet. Now, was it the tallest building in the world? It could be a load of shy. I mean, we know history is a lie. There were probably other tall buildings that aren't even here anymore. I mean, it's you know, I think what we're taught of fabricated history. So, according to this would make Lincoln the Lincoln Cathedral the tallest building in the world. The first to have surpassed the Pyramid of Egypt. Okay, so what happened to the spire? So during 1548, the central spire, under the strain of both its cumbersome weight and fearsome gale during a storm, collapsed. So it collapsed in a very strong storm, guys, apparently, and was never replaced, thus relinquishing the title of the tallest building after a near 250-year reign. The other two spires remained intact, though their negativity effects upon the structure of the cathedral ensures that sooner or later they would need to be removed as well. The spires themselves added significant weight to the towers of St Mary and St Hugh's. The strain of the weight was so you get the picture. It's crazy, and and you look at. I'm going to show you something. So now, right, I'll show you a picture. So now you look at the scale of this building here. Look at the scale to the other buildings, and it's not the only one. I'll show you another one. Look at this. So this is the scale of the building. It's huge in compared to all this lot. So of course it must be a very important building to be so big. I mean, look at the size of it compared to the other buildings. It's massive. It is a power station size, and what if it was an energy source or a resonator even that powered the city in the past? I know, as crazy as that sounds, guys, because you look at this building and and you look at the shape of power stations today. Alright, they're a bit different, but you look at some of them. So you look at these power stations, these big towers, these big cooling towers with all this. Although very different, the size and the scale of them producing the dirty energy that they do, and you compare it to this, it's like these towers were these cooling towers for something. Maybe it was an energy source that they've just basically got rid of, and they've used a more evil type of energy that destroys this world to get their agenda. Who knows? Sorry guys, just having a drink. But yeah, it's mental, some of the size of these. You look at it, it's all over the world though, if we just search cathedrals all over the world, and it's like, I mean, they're just mental, some of them, the complexity of them. And all of them have, the spires at the top, a lot of them have, like the pyramid shape. They have the pyramid, look, pyramids at the top. How they love their pyramids. So we've got pyramids there. You can see that's Lincoln Cathedral. The pyramids shapes. Because Stairway to Heaven there. Pyramid. So was it an energy source? And you look at buildings all over the world, some of the world's tallest buildings, like, for example, the Empire State Building, it's like a pyramid. Can you see the pyramid shape? what it is. It's designed like a pyramid. They didn't have to design it like this. They could just go all the way up. But no, they designed it like a pyramid. And you look at this. It's like it's like a radio tower, isn't it? And you look at some of these churches and how they're built, and you look at some of the radio towers, like the Eiffel Tower. Again, a pyramid shape. You know? Look, the Eiffel Tower, it's a pyramid shape. That's what it is. It's like a pyramid shape. And it does resemble a church spire. It resembles a church spire. So is this shape a way of harvesting energy? A power source? The way they do it? Or is it an occult symbol again? And of course, the tallest building in the UK. It's a pyramid shape. Again. They love their pyramids, don't they, in the buildings around the world. I mean, let's even look at the London Bridge, shall we? The Tower Bridge. Oh, yeah, pyramid shapes. It looks like it's got the Jesuit, I don't know. It's crazy, isn't it, guys? Again, the world's tallest building, the Burj Khalifa. It's a pyramid shape. The way it's designed, look. And it does remind me of a church spire. Again, and is there something there? Maybe, I don't know. I'm going to look deeper into it. Don't worry, guys. This is only an introduction video. It's going to be a long one, but I'm going to do a series on this because this is interesting stuff. There's a lot of hidden stuff in this world. Of course, we know that black magic and sigil magic and the screens and the technology that we're using is not new. It's not new technology. It's old technology. They just drip feed the technology to us, don't they? You know, like the TVs. They're basically the television is a black box, a black screen, a black mirror, a scrying mirror that emits light. And, you know, we're told Lucifer is the light bearer. And what if this technology that we're using, the smartphones, the smart TVs and these smart grids that's rolling out is all based on Lucifer because it's light, isn't it? It's emitting light, it's giving you information. It's brainwashing you as well with the TV. It's like the news. I've said before, broadcasting the news, casting spells, changing people's perception and behaviour, and it does with what we've seen in the last 2 years. So is there some secrets to the buildings in our world as well? I mean, even, you know, you look at this. You know, even the houses look. They've got that triangle pyramid shape, some of them, you know. Like this, and some of them are even, you know, like this, look, pyramid shapes. This is all over the world. It might be nothing, but I just find it interesting. Look, you've got that pyramid shape of the roofs. Why are the roofs shaped like that? Why can't they just be square, you know? And we're used to seeing it. It's normal to us because we're used to seeing it. We're born into it. But it is a pyramid. The roofs are like pyramid shapes, aren't they? Buildings all over the world are pyramid shapes. Why? We know they're occult. In the occult, they love the pyramid, the all-seeing eye, the eye of providence, isn't it? You know, you look at this now. Look at this. And then you look at the eye of providence, the pyramid. It looks like a church roof. The tallest building in London. You know, there's church, all sorts of stuff. All the buildings are based on this shape. And some of them even have windows, like the all-seeing eye there. I just find it very interesting, guys. And someone sent a comment that saying earlier about, sorry, I'm just having a drink, about saying that the secret is that the descendant from the pharaohs of Egypt, and they are Satan's children, the pyramid, the all-seeing eye, and that's where it comes from, the pyramids of Egypt, because they're descendant from Egypt, and the pharaohs are Nephilim creatures. You know, and it's an interesting concept. You know, maybe that's part of their secret, this deceitful world. But there's so much, this materialistic fake world that we've been brought up in to think is normal is not normal. They've blinded us to believe that this is all reality, this is all it is, when, of course, there's so much more to this world that we're not told. Like I've said, the black magic and the rituals and the demons, you know, demons, I believe, are very real. You know, the amount of evil that is and how things are. People just think that things just evolve and technology comes out and they build buildings and and what have you. They build these cities, and it's just a normal way of living because we're used to it. We're brought up into it. We're born into it. So of course it's going to be normal because we don't know any different. And most people will just think that this is the way it is and this is how it should be, when it clearly isn't. When you look at the way the world is now, you really think that the world, how's the best way to describe it? The world, the way it is, with people wearing masks and everything, and this is not how the world should be. This is not how the world should be. It's a weird world we're going into, and they're fucking up the world. Destroying the world, looking for destroying the world to take away, carbon neutral. I mean, carbon neutral is we need carbon dioxide in the air. We don't. In fact, we don't even have enough carbon dioxide. And everything they say is back to front. They give us back to front information, and you've got to turn it around a lot of the time, because what they say is the complete opposite. It's like global warming. The world's not warming up. If anything, it's getting colder. And they want to make it colder. That's their aim. I think they want an ice age. They just want to destroy this world. They want to get rid of the crops. They want to get rid of all the food products, and they want to destroy this world and create their own world, which will, by the looks of it, looks like it's the metaverse is the start of it. You look at how people buy. Look at this. This is insane, guys. Hold on, I'll show you now. I'm going off topic a little bit, but I'll just show you quickly. Look at this, guys, and this is only one of many. Real estate has gone meta. You can now be a landlord in the metaverse. People have actually bought real estate in the meta. It's mental. In November, a company sold a tract of virtual real estate for about $2.5 million worth of cryptocurrency. You see, this is the scale, guys. This is where it's going if we're not careful. The metaverse is getting hotter, not hot like a delicious meal or Finnish sauna. This mostly fictional, yeah, it is fictional, virtual, vi-sexual world is getting hot like a real estate market, because lately it is one. If you have enough money and courage, you can now buy up digital tracts of land in the metaverse. Of course, there isn't just one metaverse, much like our website is part of a larger World Wide Web, www, free. I always say that. There's something there, when they say the World Wide Web. It's like a web. It's like you catch something with a web, don't you? Or the internet, like into a net, you catch things. That's what it's doing. It's catching us, and they want to bring us into this virtual metaverse, this new world they're creating, this new satanic system. It's basically light, isn't it? It's emitting light. It's creating this world through light. Lucifer. It's a Lucifer beast system, and because that's what it is, the bearing of light. And this metaverse is basically based off light, innit? Giving information. You put your goggles on, and the light is going through your eyes and creating this world for you. Because that's what the internet is based off. You look at things through a light on a screen. So there are countless companies, including Meta, Facebook, building their own virtual realms where they hope people will soon gather as their digital avatars to play games, buy things, and interact with ads. The emerging real estate market for these three-dimensional spaces in virtual reality, including everything from virtual concerts. So you won't have to go to a concert anymore. A concert. Insert the con. I mean, there are a lot of these concerts are satanic rituals anyway now. I mean, you just look at the Travis Scott thing that happened, and all of them. You go into a satanic church when you go to these concerts that these celebrities are performing, because they're satanic worshippers. They worship the devil. They're venues and shopping malls to houses and monuments, anticipates a future in which digital property owners can work with brands that want a presence in the various iterations of the metaverse. So this is how it's going, guys, with this fake world that they want to create for us. You know, it's mental. So they want to get rid of this old world by destroying all the history and everything. And God and heck knows what's coming next. You know, this is only the beginning. They're gonna destroy this world in stages, I think, and we've already seen it this year with what's going on. Yeah, it's mental, guys, isn't it? Absolutely insane. So yeah, people are now spending millions on property in the metaverse. So yeah, what's the future? You're living in your own home space in the metaverse. You know, no need to own a real home. You know, go out in the real world. You can go out and I'll go to a concert. I'm not saying I always agreed with concerts anyway, but you can, instead of traveling the world naturally, you can do it in the metaverse, and it's so much fun in the metaverse because you can just be there in a second because there's no logic in it. It's crazy. So yeah, that's the future they want for us, and they've been serious about it as well. That's the scary part. And they're even talking about stuff like, I don't know if you've seen it, but you can look into this. Food. Got it written down here, hold on. Food, they're trying to create a central nervous system piece of software that can make you feel like you're eating something even though you're not. Make you feel like you're tasting something when you're not. I mean, where are they going with that? I mean, these are a famous structure all over the world, and you know, the Sphinx, and it's just the way they build these, it's just amazing. And you know, you look at the scale of it, you know, the size of them, they're massive. Who knows what they are and what they're for? You know, is it a gateway to another dimension, another reality? Does it take you to is there an underground city under here? Is this a big powerful energy source? I mean, it really is incredible. I mean, if you look at the middle one here, look, can you see this line here? Look, it's like the Eye of Providence, isn't it? I mean, I haven't really looked into much of this stuff, but you know, it's interesting. In fact, what I might do, look at this. What's this? And there's 6 of them here, isn't there? How many pyramids are there? Hold on. Yeah, I think there's about 3. You know, three of them. So they were built by the pharaohs. And when you look at the pharaohs, guys, when you look at the pharaohs of Egypt, none of them ever shows their full head. You know, they cover a lot of their head with this big hats that they wear. If you look, they wear these big hats, or these big crowns, probably, whatever they are. You know, they look at this. A lot of them, when you see them, they're barely showing off their head. And you know, you've got the Tutankhamun, and you've got all these statues all over the world that show the other creatures, and it's like, where the heck did someone just imagine that in the 12th century and just designed it through stone? Were they that clever, really? And what tools did they have to create the shapes and all the complexity details to create these statues all over the world that you see? I'll show you one in a minute, actually, that's in my home in Lincoln, where I lived. But you look at these hats and what they're wearing, they don't really seem to show off their head, and they're quite high, they're quite tall, aren't they? And it's just a theory that maybe their head is a bit bigger than ours. Maybe they have more knowledge. Now, it's just a theory, guys. That is a theory. I mean, it might be a stupid theory. Who knows? But maybe these weren't natural humans like us. Maybe they were another form of Nephilim creature that symbolise humans. I mean, look at this detail around here. Look, you got all this. So, are the people that run in this world descendant from the pharaohs? And were these Satan's children, or the devil, or whatever you call it? Were they descendant from the devil? And where does Lucifer come into this? Maybe some of you guys know. But you look at this, some of the statues, it's mental. I mean, and the scale of them is, their eyes look a little bit bigger as well, but then I suppose in the Middle East, when you look at people in the Middle East, their eyes are a little bit bigger and darker, of course, aren't they? Their pupils are a bit bigger. It's insane. So this is called the Lincoln Imp. Look at this. This is on Lincoln Cathedral. This is a demon. This is a demon. Now, someone created this. Someone created this. Let's have a look on Wikipedia there, look. So is a grotesque of a wall inside Lincoln Cathedral. I mean, look at that. How did they manage to create something like that? And you tell me that's just for imagination. What is this thing? And why is it on a religious building that's supposedly supposed to support Christianity and Jesus? I mean, who's this guy here? I mean, look at it. They're actually serious about it. If it was just an imagination of someone that's put something up, like, oh yeah, look at this. I'm going to imagine this really cool creature, and I'm going to design it. What do you think of this? Do you think this is cool? And people believed it. Why would they put it up in a cathedral? What's the importance of it if it's just a legend? It's mental. So this was in 1899. Production of the Lincoln Imp also overlooked the front quad of Lincoln College, Oxford, until 2000, when it was transferred. Blah blah blah. This is given the traditional Oxford expression. To look on someone like the imp looks over Lincoln. It does, because Lincoln Cathedral is right at the top of on the top of a hill, so you can see Lincoln Cathedral from miles away, and it looks massive compared to the other buildings around it. But it's not just in Lincoln. It's in the cathedral. It's in loads of places. They've got this statue of this creature, and it's like, what is it? And it's not just there's many creatures all over the world. You look at other European cities with all these statues of these weird creatures. It's just it's very bizarre. It's very strange. Look at this, a carving of Lincoln Imp on the house in Farndale, North Yorkshire. So there's another one there, look. It's very weird. Anyway, I'm going to go more into this. But it must be important The Lincoln imp is a grotesque of the Royal Lincoln Cathedral and has become a symbol of the city of Lincoln. A legend tells of being a creature sent to the cathedral by Satan. So if it was sent to the cathedral by Satan, why the heck would you have a statue of it on the cathedral? And you're supposedly a Christian cathedral here that worships Jesus, yet you've got this freaking statue on your wall. I mean, it's crazy. Sent by Satan only to be turned into stone by an angel. I mean, jeez, guys. I mean, this is it blows my mind. Why, when you look at that and you think, how do people recreate this back then in the past? So it makes you wonder, were these things real? I don't know. It's just, how can someone create something like this through an imagination and then for it to be on the wall of a cathedral and the importance of it, and it's only a legend apparently, but it makes you wonder sometimes if some of these statues all over the world that you see of these creatures or people were actually turned into stone, and they are actually, that's what they are. They were turned into stone a long time ago, and for whatever reason, who knows? Because the world we live in is a complete lie. It's a complete utter. We don't know what this world really is, do we? At all? You can't believe anything, but you can believe anything's possible at the same time. Because it just blows my mind how someone's be able to create this with the amount of detail, even with the technology that we have today. Unless they, when the way they carve all these stones and everything, and the smallest detail is so detailed. It's mental, and it's a 14th century legend, apparently, of two mischievous creatures called imps were sent by Satan to do evil work on the earth. Evil, yeah, they're probably obviously achieved that, because today the world is an evil place. It's run by very evil entities. After causing mayhem in the northern England, the two imps headed to Lincoln Cathedral. They would smash tables and chairs and tripled up the bishop. When an angel came out of the book hymns and told them to stop, one of the imps was brave and started throwing rocks at the angel, but the other imp cowered under the broken tables and chairs. The angel turned the first imp to stone, giving the second imp a chance to escape. So what was the angel, a witch? It is sent that even on this day, on this still days, it is always windy around the cathedral, which is a second imp circling the building looking for his friend. So what is it? Is the cathedral cursed? Probably a lot of cathedrals and churches these days are cursed because they're run by evil people that worship, let's say, the Luciferians and Satanists and dark occultists. Because I think that's what some of these churches secretly are. I mean, look at the Jesuits. They're dark occultists, but they pretend to be Christian and they're not. Some of them are very wicked people. So I'm going to go back to the pyramids. So here we have 3 big pyramids, but by the looks of it, we also have 3 small pyramids, right? So that's 6 pyramids there in that photo. By the looks of it, I've never been there. But you can see, look, 3 big pyramids, 3 small pyramids, 6 pyramids. Now, I want you to look at this, guys. So here we've got the Star of David, which is the Israel flag, also known as the Jewish flag. And we've heard of the synagogue of Satan, haven't we? And that they are the false, God's chosen people, sent by Satan. Now, I want you to look at this and tell me. Hold on, we'll find a better picture. So we'll just use the Israel flag. So tell me that the Star of David is there's a hex in the middle, a hexagram in there. There's 6 sides of the hexagram, the hex. Yeah? So I'm going to do something now. Alright, my laptop won't let me do what I wanted to do. So if you count here, so we've got the 6 sides, right? So it's a hexagram. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a hex, of course, is witchcraft. So let's show you. So a hex is a witchcraft. You know. And it's there in the past. All these different symbolic crap that you see all over. And a hexagram. Let's find it. So you look at this, the hexagram, which is exactly what the Star of David flag is. So you've got the 6 sides, which is basically occult symbology. So we've got that there. So you've got the hex in the middle, which is witchcraft. Because let me show you something as well. So I've just put in Kabbalah magic. Now Kabbalah is Jewish mysticism, which is magic, black magic, Jewish Kabbalah and magic, and sex magical, mythical rituals. I mean, you know, Kabbalist, who innate naturalist who lives in northern Italy. So Jewish magic before the rise of the Kabbalah. So the Kabbalah is a very evil thing. You know, it's you look at the Ashkenazis. I don't want to go too much into it because I don't want to get this my YouTube video taken down. But yeah, Kabbalah is black magic rituals. It's occult rituals, and that's what this hex is. But if you notice, the triangles around it are not actually triangles. So instead of 6 triangles, what if they're actually 6 pyramids around the hex? So 6 pyramids around the hex, like I showed you before. You know, you've got the 3 big pyramids and the 3 kind of small pyramids in front. You always see this picture, don't you? It's in quite a lot of pictures. The 3 pyramids behind and the 3 pyramids in front. So 6 pyramids. So now we've got the hex with the 6 pyramids around it in the Star of David, which is Israel. And you can link it to the Kabbalah. And even you can go far to even link it to the Talmud, which is a very, very evil book. And there's some really dark stuff in the Talmud. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. So what if there is a secret location somewhere with this hexagram and 6 pyramids around it, where people perform satanic occult rituals and do all sorts of black magic stuff, and maybe there's a secret location somewhere. It could be in Israel, it could be in Egypt, and they use Kabbalah, the Kabbalistic beliefs, and they perform rituals using the Kabbalah in this secret location, wherever that might be. Maybe there is a secret location somewhere where there's a hexagram, a hex with hexagon with 6 pyramids around it, and it's an occult location where maybe the deepest of secret societies meet to perform black magic rituals and do all sorts of stuff. Another thing as well, of course, we've got the as above so below, the pyramid that's the right way up and the pyramid that's upside down, a reverse pyramid. It's almost like a two-face as well. And I don't know if you know this, guys, but I'm going to show you something very interesting that that links these arches in Lincoln that I showed you before. So it links the arches there, and even arches all over the world, right? It's a gateway, isn't it? And the Star of David, it's like a two-face thing, isn't it? So you got the upside down and the right way up pyramid, right? It's almost like you can also almost, like, if you put the right way up pyramid, so if you put this pyramid and you brought it up further, it'd be like a reverse, wouldn't it? Like a two pyramid reflection, almost like a two-face. And I'm going to link this up now. So you've got the gateways, the arches that are just on their own all over the world in some of the most important cities. You've got this arch here, the St. Louis Arch. I mean, what's it really there for? Why would you build something like that? You know what I mean? What purpose? And what I'm going to link it up to is this. Janus, which is the god of beginnings. In ancient Roman religion, which links back to Babylon, and myth, Janus, it's not a myth, is the god of beginnings, gates, transitions. We see this transitioning now, don't we? Everything is a transition period. So you've got people wearing masks and turning into this slave system. Everything's transitioning. They want to transhumanize everyone. So the god of beginnings, gates, gateways, which is why these arches all over. Oh, where are we? Where was it? Is it gone? Hold on a minute, guys. Oh, it is. I've got too many stuff open. In the Roman religion, it's the god of beginnings, gates. So we've got the gateways that you saw, like the Arc de Triomphe all over the world, and the one in St. Louis, and the Marble Arch in London. You've got then the ones in Lincoln that I showed you, and also in York. So the gateways transitioning, was in this transitioning period now. Time, duality, doorways, passages, frames, and endings. Interesting. So it's the god of beginnings, and this isn't in very, because you've got the key here. Look at this. You've got Janus with a key. Now, what's all this about? You see this in Freemasonry, the key. And what is he? Well, he's two faces, isn't he? He's got the two face look. The two face like a mirror. Does it represent good and evil? Left and right. You know, what we see a lot today. Divisions. It could be all sorts of stuff. You know, we're told it's this, that, and the other, but what if there's more information that they don't tell us? So, like, you know, it could be anything. But this is very, I find this very interesting, because with Janus and the Star of David, let's close some of the stuff. It's like I said, if you bring this pyramid up as above, so below, bring it up here, you've got a diamond shape, haven't you? And it's almost like the two-faced, like Janus, the two-faced. And of course, we know that politicians are very two-faced, and the people that run in the world are two-faced. We hear that saying, two-faced. I'm going to go more into this because I haven't really looked into this before, but I felt this was really interesting. I mean, not many people look into this. I mean, he says that he presides over the beginnings and ending of conflicts, hence war and peace. And he's got the key. And it's just, there's so much more I could talk about, but I think I've got to end this. I'm going to do a part 2. So this is going to be part 1, and then I'll do a part 2. There's so much to this, though. It's just a really interesting. And you know, you look at the pound coin, and you look at coins all over the world. They're like the two. You got the heads and the tails, aren't you? The two faces of the coin. It kind of reminds me of that as well. There's so much to it, and you know, we can be told it's this, that, and the other. But what if it isn't? What if it's something totally different? So yeah. Anyway, guys, I'll leave it there. Maybe it could be something about a parallel realm or something. Alright, guys, anyway, yeah, so I'm going to do a part 2, but I thought this was just some interesting stuff I'll leave. So just a summary then. So we saw what's going on in Kazakhstan at the moment with, it's not about fuel. It's basically citizens are fed up with the government, and they just went and looted the government buildings. Really, if this should be happening everywhere, but of course, you know, the mandates they've had in Kazakhstan as well, you know. But yeah, it's not about fuel shortages. You look at some of the videos. If you go to BitChute and just look at this video here, I want you to watch this video, guys, if you can. I'll put in the link. Kazakhstan government is reported of locking their citizens out of bank accounts if they have no passports. Major fighting outbreaks occurring. I grabbed this video as it was cut off. So if just watch this, guys. You look at this, some of the stuff that's going on, and it's not about the fuel shortages like the bullshit corporations and the bullshit news in the West are reporting. It's not about that. It's about the passports. People being locked out of their bank accounts. And that's exactly what's coming to the West. You need to understand that. That's what's coming to our countries eventually. And so much more. But yeah, I thought this Janus thing was interesting. The fact is the god of transitions, beginnings and end. It's like, wow, it's insane. So yeah, we looked at that. We looked at the pyramids and the Star of David and the occult hexagon with the 6 pyramids around it, and maybe it'd been a secret location somewhere where they perform rituals. And we looked at the Kabbalah and it's Jewish mysticism, which I'm going to go more into detail. And then I looked at how the pyramids, you look at some of all the buildings and some of the roofs of the churches all look like pyramid shapes, don't they? So yeah, I thought I'll do this video. A lot of it's just conspiracy theory, really, more than anything else. A lot of it's just maybe speculation, but I find this stuff interesting because we're living in a lie, and the reason why my channel's called Live Truth Seeking is because I'm seeking for the truth. I'm seeking to what this world is and why we're here. I want to know, like everyone else does. But at the same time, we're living in really weird, interesting times, and it's crazy times, and it's like, oh, and sometimes you can't always enjoy doing this stuff because you're pissed off about what's going on in your own country, and you're pissed off about what's happening to your own family and what they're doing to people around you, and it's like, oh my days, it's upsetting to watch. And we're in this transitioning period, you know. Yeah, and you can't really enjoy looking at this stuff, really. I haven't really had the emotional, I've been in the emotional state to look into this stuff because I've been so angry about what's going on in the world and what they're doing to people, and I still do. But if I could do more of this stuff, it would be great. Anyway, guys, thanks. If you made it this far, thank you. You've just wasted nearly an hour on listening to me just talk random stuff, but maybe you've got something out of it, maybe you haven't, maybe it's made you think about certain things. But what I find interesting is just the buildings all over the world, the pyramid shapes, even houses, the roofs, why they're shaped like they are. And the buildings, the cathedrals, it's just so big. They're big compared to other buildings around them. You think, what were the importance of that? We're told it's just to do with God and it was a religious building. Maybe it was part of that, but I think it was something else because you look at the size of it. Maybe it was a resonator, an energy source. And why do they destroy all these historic buildings all over the world? They've destroyed them in the past with fires and all sorts of stuff. You look at some of the great fires that have happened all over the world, in San Francisco, in London, and it's like they're destroying evidence. And the same with another one is the Library of Alexandria, the false flag there, where they destroyed evidence, destroyed information. There was a lot of information. Was it a true event? Was it a false flag? Who knows? But you look at some of these great fires that happened in the United States as well, that destroyed so many buildings, and why? Why did they destroy all these cities in the past? What evidence were they trying to get rid of? And you know, you look at some of the church cathedrals that have been destroyed in fires, like a few years ago, the Notre Dame. You know, why did they destroy part of that? Is it like Lincoln Cathedral? We're told that it had spires on it, 2 massive tall spires that fell off during a storm, or was that a cover up? Like, were there energy sources? Were there something else that they don't want to tell us and they want to hide from us as to why they destroy these buildings? You know, do they create? Is history like every time they have a reset? Do they change the history narrative altogether and create something totally different that they already have, but they never showed us, but they'll show people in the future in the next Great Reset, and it's a total different reality. But they won't tell us this reality. There might not be any evidence, or they'll try to get rid of the evidence of this reality and create another reality, if you know what I mean. Who knows? But I just find that stuff fascinating. It's just, like I said, it's just a lot of it's just theory, but, you know, I'm open-minded to anything. I either believe anything's possible or don't believe anything at all, you know. Who knows? Yeah, just find that interesting. Alright guys, thank you for your time, and yeah, look forward to doing a part 2. I don't know when a part 2 will be happening, because I think it looks like the world's just about to get very crazy, and I'll have to do some videos on what's going on in the world. But when I get the chance and the emotional state, I'll do a part 2. Alright, cheers guys.